Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Rent a Pal. Alright, interesting title here. Cast and crew information down below. And the IMDb plot is a little lengthy here, so I'm going to read it and hopefully not repeat it when I get to this review here. But set in 1990, a lonely bachelor named David searches for an escape from the day-to-day drudgery of caring for his aging mother. While seeking a partner through a video dating service, he discovers a strange VHS tape called Rent a Pal. Hosted by the charming and charismatic Andy, the tape offers him much-needed company, compassion, and friendship. But Andy's friendship comes at a cost, and David desperately struggles to afford the price of admission. Trying to get a little slick there at the end. Alright, so I guess that kind of covers what's going on here pretty well. This is a movie that I just kind of took a chance on. I didn't know too much about, and as far as I'm concerned, came out of nowhere. Maybe others had more information about this one. I also saw a lot of good reviews for it, and I'm going to kind of go the other direction here. This is definitely slow burner here in my eyes. And you get to the setup here, you get to know David a lot. You get to know the story is very centered on him, obviously, and there's not a whole lot going on here. You see early in the film, basically everything I just said in the summary here. You kind of see where his life is at a pause, caring for his mom. He's basically stuck there at home. I believe he does work, but you don't really get to see him do that. Most of the time you see him in the house, the mother's there. The mother's obviously making it difficult for him to care for her and her condition at times. It's obviously worn on him, and you see him wanting other things, but more sacrificing for his mom. And that's all good, nothing wrong with that. But as a movie standard, it kind of gets a little boring here for a while. They do a lot to kind of set that up for you, and you kind of see David and so forth. It does start to get a little interesting here when you kind of see him get into this rent-a-pal kind of thing. Or actually even before that, when you see him, I guess, trying to get a date, hoping for a date. It's a very unique dating kind of service thing. Obviously much different than what we have now, so many options and so forth, and even social media, you don't even need to do much. But you basically, it has a service here where you're renting videotapes of people who put themselves on tape, in short term, basically saying, about themselves and what they're looking for. And I guess he's put himself out there, and he's searched for girls on these videotapes, but no one will respond to him. And he kind of, you see one of the times he does go out, he actually goes to the service, and he's like, do I have any responses yet? And they're like, no. And the girl there, I think, is not really paying too much attention to him, and kind of knows that he's probably not one of their premier clients. He's not going to get a lot of calls here, and kind of takes advantage of him and kind of makes him make his own video. And I think one of the funniest parts of the movie is him making a video, because he does this long speech and whatever, and says all these good things about himself, and you kind of feel bad for him. And then the guy's like, well, that's all good, but if you can say all that in like 30 seconds, and he kind of has to do it all over again, and kind of see the pain on his face. and everything he just said, he has to shorten up. So funny for me, not so much for him. So you kind of have to go along with him. You kind of have to see the pains he's going in, the struggle that he's going through, and the ups and downs of trying to do this. And until he's kind of there one day at the dating service, and he kind of looks over in this thing and he sees Rent-A-Pal, and he's like, "What's this?" And he takes a shot. He pulls out this VHS, and he takes it home. And if he can't find a woman, why not maybe some friends here? So he pops in this tape, and Andy it is. It's a video of Andy. And, at first you look at him, and I don't know, my first kind of thoughts were, maybe a Mr. Rogers kind of type. But Andy's there, and Andy's being very nice. And I guess one of the sort of intriguing things is here is what you see with Andy. You kind of wonder with the reaction from him, is it something that's in David's mind, and is David seeing what he wants to see out of this video, or is Andy really Andy on this video? Because and again, I don't think I'm spoiling anything. I hope I'm not spoiling anything since it's a newer movie. But the way Andy plays is Andy will, come on, introduce himself, and then he'll kind of ask a question, kind of a question that you would maybe ask with a friend, or a new friend more specifically. And, kind of a get to know you kind of thing. And as opposed to Andy just asking the question and then moving on, Andy kind of pauses and gives you a chance to answer. So you can either answer in your head, or answer out loud, or respond. And then when you kind of do give that answer, then Andy then responds. So it's almost like you really are talking to him, or in this case, David is really having a conversation with him. So this is why it's kind of appealing, and that's why you kind of see him going along with this video. So you're kind of left as an audience member wondering, is this really a tape? Is this Andy really this way? Or is this kind of David, kind of pushed to the brink here, and it's his imagination that Andy is actually responding to him, or having this conversation? So then we kind of get into slow burn mode again, because they go through a stretch here where you kind of see David play this video over and over. And they kind of speed it up a little bit as they go, if I remember correctly. So I saw this a little while ago. And it took me a while to get to this review, but I wanted to review it since I saw a lot of people liked it, and I had a different viewpoint. But anyway, you see Andy and David continually playing this video of Andy over and over again, and you kind of see this start, an obsession kind of start. It's like he's really is his friend, and he becomes very possessive of Andy in this video and so forth. But and this is where I'll kind of stop, because I think it will kind of enter spoiler territory. Is Andy eventually finds a girl who's interested in him. So, is this good time? Is this bad time? Where does she fit in this equation? Because before it was just David and his mom really didn't count. So he was looking for that somebody, but now Andy's kind of filled this void that he's been looking to fill. But now he has another option. So now he has more options than he bargained for. So now what happens? Is he going to let this girl in? Is he going to ditch Andy? The mystery unfolds here. So I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to spoil anything more. If you haven't seen this movie, maybe leave you with that intriguing note there. With that said, to sum up everything that's just happened from the beginning to that point, like I said, it was, it does, it kind of sets up something of interest, and you're kind of, watching and then you kind of see David's character, and obviously you're feeling for David's character. But in another complete way, it's a little bit of a drag. It's a little bit of a slow burn. There's just not a lot of action going on. It's just a lot of the focus is on him. There are a few scenes with his mother involved, and that's when it might pick up a little bit more, mostly because of his struggle to take care of her, and maybe some disagreements there. There is the funny scenes in the video store, but for a large part, like after a while of seeing David, it's just a little too. At least for me, it was a little too much. I wanted some other things to go on. To me, I can watch a slow burn. It's okay, but I just maybe it just needed. It was the lack of other characters. I don't know. It was just, to me, it was just too much dragging there. The acting was good. The guy who played David, I think he did a good job. No slight to him. It's just, maybe one of those things where if you're not in the mood for it, this is going to drag. The parts I did like were, I guess, the parts that I can't tell you about. Once the girl comes into the equation, then the movie finally gets interesting. There are some interesting things going on, and I guess the slow burn kind of wears off and things pick up. But for me, it just took too long, and even when it got to that point, maybe I wanted a little bit more, and maybe everything that happened there maybe didn't make complete sense, or I don't know. It didn't play out the way, maybe you thought, and then maybe your expectation of David, I don't know. But I guess, for me, it just kind of took too long to get to that kind of stuff, where I couldn't give maybe the movie a little bit more credit. Is it a terrible movie? Is it a horrible movie? No. I think you might, if you're going to turn this on, you're going to have to maybe be in the mood to kind of sit through some stuff and just kind of wait for things to eventually happen. If you're more of an exciting mood and you want to see something with action or whatever, don't really turn this on right away, because you're going to have to wait a long time before the interesting stuff happens. So, when I say I disagree with people's opinions of it, I saw, if I'm not mistaken, I even saw it on maybe one or two people's top list. I'm not sure top 10, but maybe top 20. If they put it in the top 20, who am I to disagree with that? Top 10, that's for me, that's a stretch. Like I said, it's good acting. It's not a bad story. Just the whole slow burn thing of it, and having to wait so long before anything happens, it's just not for me. And that's fine. Movies are for different people. So yeah, I'm not slamming anybody for liking this movie. It is, the movie is well done, well put together, well acted. Just wasn't for me overall. So with that, I'm gonna just give it 2 pools of blood. If it would have had more stuff that happened maybe towards the end, earlier on, or even if they wanted to maybe do a flashback or something leading up to this, but I can see maybe not, maybe it didn't need it to play out the way it did, and, maybe you couldn't really there's no room to wiggle there. So 2 pools of blood for me. I'm just going to give 2 pools of blood. But I don't slam anybody who rated it higher. I mean, if you could deal with the slow burn thing and then you liked what happens at the end, I mean, that's fine as well. So yeah, 2 pools of blood. And wrap this up by saying the usual stuff here. horrorsquarereviews.blogspot.com, where you can find more reviews, including written reviews. Video reviews are there as well if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and please do. Comment section down below, you can feel free to disagree with me about the movie there. Maybe you agree with me, that's fine. We can talk about it there. Also Twitter, Facebook down below as well. We can talk about the movie there. We can talk about other movies. If you have something you want me to review, you can always find me there as well and present your movie, and I'll see if I can check it out if I can. And yeah, with that, I'm going to leave David to his video screening with Andy, and we'll catch you on the next review, horror fans.